Hello, friends. Today we will take a look at Terra Luna Classic or Lancy, which is one of the most talked about coins in the crypto market because in the past month it has made an incredible move and according to some data has seen an increase of up to 134%. Yes, you heard that right. The project that collapsed in 2022 is back in the spotlight. But why? Right now, the biggest event on the Terra Luna Classic side is actually the supply shock story. The community is seriously burning tokens and trying to reduce the amount of Lancy in the market. In particular, Binance's recent burn operation has attracted a lot of attention. Binance burned approximately 923 million Lancy tokens just at the beginning of May, and in total has burned more than 80 billion Lancy to date. Now, here's the important point. Lancy's biggest problem is the excessively high supply. Right now, there are trillions of tokens circulating in the market. That's why the community says that if the supply is reduced, the price could rise again. And in fact, this narrative has become the main reason behind the recent surge. According to current data, more than 444 billion Lunc have been permanently burned. Additionally, around 931 billion tokens are locked in staking. This also reduces the actively tradable supply in the market. So people aren't just trading, some are locking up their tokens and others are supporting the burn mechanism. This naturally puts pressure on the price. But of course, there's an important point to pay attention to here, friends. Lunc is still an extremely risky project because this rise is entirely driven by hype, community, and speculation. So if it's going up 50% today, we could also see sharp drops tomorrow. Such movements are very normal, especially for coins with low market cap and high supply. The Terra Classic team is still continuing development. Right now, the V4 upgrade is being discussed. This update includes details such as security enhancements, performance improvements, and closing old system vulnerabilities. But to be honest, it looks mathematically very difficult for Lunk to return to its old prices because there is still approximately 5.5 trillion in supply. So levels like $10, $50, or $100 like the old Luna currently seem almost impossible. With these kinds of coins, you need to be careful about FOMO because Lunc is an extremely volatile coin that moves entirely on community power. On the Terra Luna Classic or Lunc side, the price is currently trading around 96, 99 levels, and frankly, there has been a renewed surge of activity in the market, friends. Especially with the recent rise in the past weeks, Lunc has started to get back on people's radar because the structure that had been moving sideways for a long time now seems to have finally broken upwards. Right now, the biggest thing in the market is entirely community hype. It's built around the token burn system and the story of reducing supply. Now, when we look at the technical side, the 9 region has become a very critical support level at the moment. If the price continues to stay above this level, the market could regain psychological strength. Especially in the short term, levels like 10, 12, and 15 are really up for discussion. Lunc is an extremely volatile coin, so while it can rise 30% in a single day, it might face a sharp sell off the next day. Because it's still a structure that moves entirely on speculation and community strength, the main reason for the current rise is what we call a supply shock. In other words, the amount of tokens in the market is gradually decreasing. Especially the massive burn operations carried out by Binance have greatly boosted morale within the community. Because of this, people have started to ask again whether Lun can really make a comeback. But we need to be realistic, friends. At the moment, it looks mathematically very difficult for Lunk to return to its former Luna price levels because there are still trillions in supply on the market. But with short-term hype movements, there is a real possibility of seeing significant bumps. What matters right now is the 9 support level it is currently at, friends. If there is a breakdown below this, we could see a pullback to the 0.75 region. In other words, we might see a pullback around these levels, especially as long as Bitcoin remains strong. The flow of money into meme community coins may continue, and Lunk could benefit significantly from this. So, in summary, there is renewed hope for Terra Luna Classic at the moment, but the risk is still incredibly high. That's why you need to be careful about FOMO, friends. That's all for today's analysis. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.